first I wanted to start off by saying I am in a new place since the last time I recorded a video. It's been about a month, I know. This is my new apartment, and I am currently in the walk-in closet, and that's where I've decided to set up my desk because it works really well as kind of its own little soundproof room. So I shouldn't have to worry about any roommates making noise and that being in the background of videos that I try to make. Anyway, so going on. This video is going to be about the beginning and starting times of your Lords Mobile gameplay, because those are the most confusing times to be playing Lords Mobile. And I know I went through it, everyone else went through it. I've had a couple accounts now. The first time I was just asking questions left, right, just like every question I could think of because I didn't know anything. The game looks very complicated when you're looking at it just like this. You got a bunch of stuff in the left corner, a bunch of stuff in the right corner, stuff on the bottom. There's too many freaking buttons. There's buildings and everything. So it's confusing, okay? Anyway, this is my smaller account that I'm deciding to use. I originally, when I made this account, wanted to use it from the very beginning, but I unfortunately wasn't able to do that based on the way my setup was working / not working. Anyway, so the first thing I want to stress about is this game is a war game, obviously, but there are two main play styles, and then there's branches off of that. So the first play style is the type of player who wants to go build an army really quick and just start burning everyone and killing everyone else's troops. That's great, that's fun, that's what I am, that's what the game's made for. It's a war-based strategy game, so that's cool. I will teach you how to do that in videos, no problem. And then the other type of player is what the war players call farmers, which I'm not a fan of. I don't like being a farmer. That's not fun gameplay to me, that's boring. However, farmers are very important in later gameplay because farmers are what produce a bunch of resources, and without a bunch of resources, the T4 players, who are the fighters, aren't going to be able to actually build troops and heal troops to continue fighting and doing what they need to do to rule their kingdom or win the war that they're in. So without you farmers, we wouldn't be able to make that possible either. So trust me, both gameplays are useful. Even if you don't feel useful, like, just hold out, you're useful. So when you're first starting the game, what I like to do is I like to teach everybody how they can focus on getting higher level troops, because troops ultimately are what help you play the game as a war game. So if you go to your research building right at the beginning, which I have a lot more research done already, but you're going to start off with tier 1 troops. So the first thing you want to do is start researching. And the military tab, which I just entered, this tab right here, is going to be where you learn to get those troops and you're able to continue. So you start by getting training speed. You can just get it like, I mean, that's a 1 of 1, and then these ones you just need low levels for, and then more low levels, and then eventually you get the tier 2 troops. I believe it's level 2 in all of these to get tier 2. I'm not positive, not 100% positive. And then you do this row and you get tier 3 troops. And tier 3 troops are a little harder. I believe you have to have all of the previous ones at level 4 of 10, which, I mean, it's really not that bad. You'll start noticing, though, that this game is a lot about waiting, and waiting sucks. So there are pay-to-play players and free-to-play players. You'll learn that quickly. So, as a free-to-play player, I suggest your main goal at the start is to get tier 3 troops. Those are tier 2s. Tier 3 troops, which are these right here. It's going to take a little bit. It's not too bad, though. And by the time you get tier 3 troops, you're going to want to make sure you can protect those tier 3 troops, especially if you're free to play, because if you're free to play, you're not spending a lot of money to make a bunch of troops and have a bulk amount of an army to where if they die, okay, whatever, I'll buy some more. As free to play, if they die, that's a lot of time wasted, and that's not fun if you get zeroed, and that's what makes people quit, and we don't want people quitting. So you're going to make infirmaries, which the best method is to make as many infirmaries as you need to be able to house all of your troops. See, I recently messed up on this account, okay? I had about 500k troops, and I went ahead and only had space for 319,000 of them. Because of that, when I got attacked and zeroed by a bigger player after the kingdom opened up, I ended up killing off about 200k of my troops, which means they're dead. They're dead for good. You don't get them back. If they're wounded, you can heal them, and then you still have them. You don't have to go through all that endless training of troops. So that's definitely one of the biggest recommendations, is to make sure you have enough of that. You can go ahead and build a few manors at the beginning, because you want to be able to produce troops quicker, and manors go ahead and they give you a troop training stat boost. With the troop training stat boost, that comes in really handy, because then, you know, you're not waiting 3 days for 6,000 T3 troops. You could wait maybe 2 days or 1 day, depending on how many you have. Granted, with every manor you get, you have to forego having an infirmary. Now, the best way to have infirmaries are to have them leveled up to their max castle level, or building level is a better way of saying it. So all of my infirmaries should be level 25, like this one right here, but they're not. I have them at level 21. If I had them all at level 25, I wouldn't have lost as many troops. I wouldn't have to rebuild those. But, you know, you live and you learn. I expected that I would lose troops because I was focusing a lot more on my main account at that time, but that's okay. Okay, the next portion I would like to talk about is all of these other plots down here on the bottom, okay? These are important, but not as important and fundamental as the ones above. This is where your farmers come in handy. And everyone, and I mean everyone, should be hyper farming at least one resource. What I mean by that is, you have to have the 4 main buildings to continue leveling up your castle, because you're going to need them as prerequisites to other buildings in order to get your castle leveled up. Granted, aside from those 4 buildings, you're going to want to choose one resource, just one, that you want to make a lot of. And by make a lot of, I mean you can make an easy, like, 30 million a day, no problem eventually. And much higher than that. I don't do a lot of the resources, so I don't know. But you want to choose one resource type. So on this account, I went ahead and I chose stone. So you can see I have all of these stone buildings here in order to get my stone resources to a higher amount quicker. If I go ahead and I click on one of these buildings, granted I don't have them maxed at all. They're super low level. But 65k per hour versus if I look at that's another stone building. If I look at one of my other buildings where I'm getting 46k, blah, blah, blah. But if I level these all up to 25, I'll be getting millions per hour. And then in late game, you're going to be sending all of that to your bank to then fund your T4 troops to then win your wars and War of Wonders and KVKs. So it all goes full circle. The resources are needed to fund the T4 troops. The T4 troops are needed to win the battles. The battles won are needed to help everyone else in the guild have better stats, and then they can protect the resource guys, who then, you know, it just goes around. So that's very important at beginning level as well. So we've talked about the research, the very first research you want to do, which is military. However, on that note, you want to look at your economy, because when you're first starting, you're needing to build a lot of buildings. So you want to get this construction speed research up pretty quickly, because it will help a lot in order for leveling up those buildings. Plus, it's needed for the eventual T4 grind, but if you're free to play, that's going to take forever anyway. If you're pay to play, you're going to need this whole tree. But nonetheless, that's where you want to go for research. Those are your first 2 researches, in my opinion. Another possible research that you should do, well, not possible, you should be doing it, and I would try and fit it in here and there on occasion, especially if you're not planning to be a really strong player, but you want to make sure you get the most for your gameplay, in which case is the monster hunt tree, which is something I have never stressed much on in my own accounts. However, it helps a lot because you get gifts not only for attacking monsters for yourself, but you get gifts for the guild overall as a whole for every monster you kill, and that's something that is really useful later in the game when you have a full guild all attacking level 2, level 3, level 4 monsters, and you're logging on daily getting 300 gifts. it adds up to a good amount. You can be getting 4,000 gems, which is, you know, useful for anything. 4,000 gems, that's another 10k T4 for me on my main account. Maybe even more, who knows. But that's definitely where you need to start if you're a beginning player. And I'm gonna have more on this. This is just the first video. I decided that's the stuff I wanted to talk about from the very beginning, because to me that's the most important thing. And in order to level up all that stuff, you obviously got to have your castle leveled up. So out of those things, that is the very, very first, most basic, fundamental parts of the game, in my opinion, for you to work on. So I wish you the best of luck. Stay tuned for the next video, and I promise they will just get more expansive over time, because this is just video number 1. See you later, guys. Subscribe, like, comment, make fun of me for being in the closet. I don't really care, but have a good day.